name? I don't know your last.
My last name is Voschel. It's not all that important, but my name's Joel Voschel. So
Voschel.
yeah. Yep.
All right.
So
So
just
Joel,
let me know when.
a nice audience. Joel is our coordinator for the camp, the trip. He's our go-to. We met with Joel Monday, and planned through the camp. And this is definitely a time for you to ask questions too. It's a Q&A, and he'll go through how camp is doing things now with the COVID and the changes. And then obviously we want you to be able to ask any questions that you have. Plus the YouTube video is also very helpful if you haven't viewed that already.
Yep.
So I'm going to turn it over to you, Joel.
Perfect. All right. Good evening, everybody. Hi, my name's Joel, like they just said. We don't really use last names here at camp. I don't know why. We're just a first name organization. So sometimes people ask that and I'm like, oh, strange. But yeah, like they said, my role here is actually called the coordinator position. So my job is to work with your teachers and coordinate the trip that the students will be coming on here in February 2nd. They'll be here for basically 3 days, so 2 nights and 3 days as they're here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to show the video they're just talking about. If you haven't seen it, if you have seen it, I'm sorry, you'll get to watch it twice rather than just listen to me talk through it all in entire time. It's about 7.5 minutes. I'll play that and then I'll go over a few more specifics after that. Okay, so just give me a second here. I'm going to share my screen over here with you and we'll get that started. All right. Here we go. You ready?
Greetings from the shores of Stony Lake, home of YMCA store camps. We are excited to welcome your school to camp in the near future. This video will prepare you to have the best possible time while at camp. YMCA store camps is located in Jackson, Michigan, just a few miles away from the scenic Irish Hills. Camp is pretty large. In fact, it spans over 1,200 acres. Being so large, you'll get to see a variety of plants and wildlife, some which you may not get a chance to see at home. You'll also get to see some not so wildlife, the YMCA store camp staff. Our staff will be teaching your classes, leading activities, and eating meals with you. All of our staff live on camp and can't wait to meet you. Now that we've talked about us, let's talk about you. We're going to start with what you need to do before arriving at camp. Properly packing for camp ensures you will have a great camp experience. Joel here is going to help show us what we need to bring. First, be sure to bring a backpack to carry personal belongings in during the day. You'll also want a larger storage item like a suitcase or a duffel bag for your clothes and bedding. When it comes to bedding, you can bring sheets, a sleeping bag, or whatever else makes you most comfortable. Camp beds are twin XL in size. Don't forget to bring a pillow. You'll also want to bring all your toiletries such as shampoo, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, and a towel. Camp provides paper towel and toilet paper for you, so don't worry about bringing those. Be sure to bring appropriate clothes for camp activities. You will be traveling outside between classes and doing most classes outside as long as the weather cooperates. Bringing 2 pairs of shoes is important as your feet most likely will get wet at some point. During the winter months, you're definitely going to want to bring boots, hats, and gloves to stay warm. Pack a heavy coat in winter and a raincoat in the spring or fall. Of course, we are in Michigan, so bringing both might be wise regardless of what time of year it is. The most important thing you can bring, though, is a water bottle. You will be walking up to 5 miles a day at camp. In order to stay feeling your best, a water bottle will be your best friend. There's also a few things not to bring to camp. They include money of any kind, electronics including cell phones, hair dryers, food and beverages, or anything else that isn't allowed at school. Camp is a really fun place that doesn't need those distractions or even worse, for those items to become broken or lost. It's strongly recommended to label all of your luggage. You'd be surprised how similar everyone's luggage looks when it's unloaded. Save yourself the disappointment of someone accidentally grabbing your things by labeling everything you bring. Now let's talk about what to expect while you're here at camp. When you arrive, you will have an opportunity to move into your lodge or cabin. Lodges are buildings with 4 individual living spaces. Each living space has 14 total beds with 2 bathrooms. All lodges have heat and air conditioning. Cabins are the more rustic experience of camp. Cabins have between 8 and 16 total beds. Each cabin has electricity and a heater. Bathrooms are located a short walk away with showers assigned by cabin. You're finally all moved in, so let's talk about what a typical day at camp looks like. Your day will start off by meeting at our flag raising ceremony. You'll then head up to Malachi Dining Hall for breakfast. Lunch and dinner will also be served at Malachi, which will quickly become one of your favorite spots on camp. Masks are required to be worn inside Malachi Dining Hall, except for when you are actively eating or drinking. When it comes to eating, meals are served family style, meaning items will be brought out to your table to serve. Meals have a main course, side dish, and fruit or vegetable option brought out. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are also available. Beverage options include water at all meals and individual containers of juices or milk. We are able to accommodate dietary needs as well, such as gluten and dairy-free diets. Be sure to notify your school representative of any dietary request. Once meals are done, you will help clean up your table to get ready for the next part of your day. There's a few special traditions that occur at the end of meals at camp. Without giving too much away, it's important to know that we love zero food waste and truly appreciate cleanliness in living spaces and bathrooms. After post-meal silliness has concluded, it's time to start classes and activities. Our staff will be leading you through a variety of classes based on what your teachers have chosen. Note that some classes are only available during certain times of the year. The following are just a few examples of classes you may take. Learn about adaptations and hold a snake during in cold blood. Get an up-close look at all of the hidden life found in water with microscopic ponderings. Work together as a team to solve challenges in Total Team or the Team Challenge course. Take a step back in time to when the first American settlers came to the Michigan territory with Little Class on the Prairie, Pioneer Pastimes, or Michigan Country. Experience what it's like to survive in the wild with Fire Quest and Gimme Shelter. Spend a relaxing day by the lake while fishing. Hone your skills at archery. Discover what it is like to be a consumer in the food pyramid during Predator Prey. Learn about natural forces in play during Broomball. Cruise around the lake in a stylish canoe. Hang out with our horses down by the barn. Or reach new heights on a rock wall. We do our best to have classes outdoors as much as possible. However, if a class is indoors, masks are required to be worn. Not all of campus classes, though. You'll have an opportunity each day to choose an activity you'd like to participate in during afternoon activities. The selection of activities varies each day, but may include heading to our small animal barn to hang out with Petey the donkey and his friends. Arts and crafts, including the camp staple of boondoggling. Gaga Ball, a you against everyone dodgeball game. Camouflage, an in-the-woods style of hide and seek. If you're here while there's snow on the ground, you can go sledding down our hill. Or simply going on a hike around camp to discover things you've never seen before, like sticks. Once the sun goes down, there's still fun to be had during the evening. You may experience a good old-fashioned campfire, test out your acting abilities during skit night, observe the constellations during a night hike, or dance the night away during a square dance. Finally, after a full day of classes, activities, and meals, it's time to wind down in your lodge or cabin. It's important to get a good night's sleep because the next day will be just as fun as the last. While we never want the fun of camp to end, eventually it'll be time to head on home to school. On the morning of your last day, you will pack up all of your things and clean up your cabin. The schedule for the last day always varies, but it culminates in loading up the buses and heading on home. Be sure to tell your best camp stories to your families and friends when you arrive home. That about does it for what you need to know to prepare for your time here at camp. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us through email, give us a call, or ask your questions to your school representative who will pass them along to us. We're very excited to be hosting your school here at camp and can't wait to meet you soon.
Cool. All right. So I hope that played well. If the audio was off, I apologize. Sometimes that happens a little bit, but so basically the gist of the day is, just so you're aware, is every day we start the day with breakfast, and then we have 2 activities in the morning, and then we have lunch, and then we have 2 activities in the afternoon, and then we have a period, it's kind of like recess at camp. We call it afternoon activities. It's a time that I will meet with the counselors, the cabin leaders, and the teachers, and all the kids will go off and do fun activities with our staff as well. So that's the one time throughout the entire time they'll be here where they're not supervised by at least one adult or more every single time. But in the evening, we have dinner and then evening programs as well. It is a very, very long day. I can tell you on the very last day on Friday, when they get back home to you guys, they will talk really fast to you guys about everything they did and then probably fall asleep. That's because we keep them going from about 7:45 in the morning, and then lights out is at 10 o'clock. So it is a very, very long day. But at the same time, the goal of camp is to provide an enrichment period that they won't necessarily get at school, an opportunity for them to bond with each other, learn how to live with each other, and learn additional education that might not get in school. So yes, they have fun, but the primary purpose of outdoor education is so that they learn as well as part of their school curriculum. Awesome. So that's the thing. All those activities you saw listed, obviously we're not doing all of them. Mainly, one, we don't have time, and two, some of them aren't actually offered in February. Like we don't go canoeing in February. The lake's frozen, kind of self-explanatory. Well, usually frozen, not always, but things, and fishing as well. We don't do ice fishing or anything like that. But based on, so the activities the kids will be doing is they will be going to our reptiles room and learning about the adaptation of reptiles and have opportunities to hold those animals. We are going to do some role playing as pioneers in a game, kind of like a survival game that pioneers have to do. It's called Michigan Country. It's a lot of fun. Also, we'll do another activity about pioneers called Pioneer Pastimes, where kids actually learn about things that pioneer children went through and do some activities they did. And then in addition to that, we're also doing activities called Give Me Shelter, where we'll teach them how to build shelters in the woods in a pretend survival situation. And then the last one, which is usually one of the most favorite activities, is an activity called Predator Prey, where it's basically a big, huge game of tag / hide and seek / food chain. So it's a way to role play how food chains actually happen in the wild, but at the same time, it's kind of like you hunt each other. And by hunt, I mean tag, not actually hunt. And so they try and get food and resources they would need as well. But so that's the basic. And then for the evening programs, we're actually going to take them on a night hike in the one night. So actually go explore the woods with staff. Obviously, I'm not going to say go get lost. They'll be go on a guided hike, talk about cool things that can only happen at night, adaptation of animals, cool activities we can do. And then the last night we're going to do actually another fun activity. It's called square dance. It's a little bit of cultural history, but we teach the kids how to do a dance called the Virginia Reel. Sometimes at the beginning, kids are like, square dance, I don't want to do this. By the time we're done, they don't want to stop usually. So it's one of those things that sometimes a little hard to sell them, but once they do it, it is a lot of fun as well. So yes, now this year it is a little bit different than previous years. As I'm sure most of you know, we weren't able to have outdoor education last year due to the pandemic. We have got camp operating under some procedures now that we are trying to make camp as safe as we possibly can. There is obviously always the risk that somebody could have something and spread it to others. That's just the risk of everywhere right now. Unfortunately, even if you're vaccinated, that's still a possibility that you can get it and possibly spread it to somebody else. So in order to maintain safety as much as possible, we are basically, in order to operate, we are requiring that everybody, when they're indoors, wears a mask at all times, with two exceptions. Exceptions being, obviously, if you're eating, you can't put food in your mouth and eat a mask and have a mask on at the same time. And then when they're in their own cabin, their cabin unit is essentially going to be their family for the week or for the 3 days. So what that means is, obviously, we don't require them to sleep with mask on. If they want to, I guess they can. We don't enforce that, but that cabin is their space for the week. But as soon as they leave that cabin, like even if they go into another indoor building that's not their cabin, we do ask that they wear a mask the entire time. And that goes for everybody. It's not just the kids. It goes for teachers, cabin leaders, the staff here. The only reason I'm not wearing a mask right now, even though I'm indoors, is because I'm in an office by myself and there's nobody around right here. But we have a policy that we wear a mask around here all if they're indoors with people at all times as well. When we're outside and we're able to stay socially distanced, masks are not required. Like the video said, we try and do everything we can outside as much as possible, but obviously some activities do require an indoor component to it as well. For example, we can't take the reptiles outside in February because they will freeze, and that would be bad. So that's how that works. If for some reason, while the students are here at camp and they do start showing symptoms, basically they're getting sent home. Even if we take a test and, go get them tested, we call you and they get tested and it's Wednesday afternoon, that test isn't going to get back to give a result probably until at least 24 to 48 hours, which for 3 days, it's not going to be enough time. So basically for our outdoor education season, if a child is exhibiting symptoms, shortness of breath, change of taste, change of smell, coughing, all of those, we will have to send them home. Obviously, they'll be isolated until they'll are ready to be picked up and sent home. But knock on wood, we've been very, very lucky in the fact that we have had no one that we know of contract or bring COVID to camp. Because the other thing we ask is 2 weeks prior to arriving, just try and maintain safety as well. Don't be, if you're exposed to somebody 2 weeks prior to camp, we ask that you probably don't come to camp unless you come back with a negative test. Okay, so if they're exposed or you're exposed and you live in the same house with them, we don't want the possibility of spreading that to other people as well. It's an unfortunate thing we have to work with at this time. We have hand sanitizer stations in every building. We have multiples in the dining hall. As soon as the kids walk in the doors, there's hand sanitizers. We encourage everybody to sanitize their hands at the very least before they come down and eat anything. We encourage washing with soap and water better, because that actually is more effective than hand sanitizers, according to the CDC. But the bare minimum hand sanitizer is provided. It's in the cabins. It's in every building. We have it in every building. We don't have it outdoors right now because it freezes, but if it was warmer out, we have them outside as well. So we do our best that we possibly can. Like I said, we've been lucky in the fact that we haven't had anything like that. The other thing is, if you've been out of the country or they've been out of the country, at this point, we're going to, and it's within 2 weeks of coming to camp, we're going to kind of ask that they don't come to camp as well, either just in case something got picked up or spread or things like that. As we all know from the news, there's new strains coming out all the time, and we can't do anything to prevent it. I mean, I highly recommend everybody gets vaccinated, but that's your own personal choice, your decision. But even if you're vaccinated, we still require everyone who comes on camp to be wearing a mask. That being said, let's see, I go through about 1 mask every day. Sometimes I go through 2 or 3 because, you drop it on the ground, it goes, things like that. So it wasn't on the it's not on the packing list. It's not listed. I should have added that to there. I apologize. It was an oversight on my part. But if you send your child with a mask, that would be great. If you send a child with 3 masks for 3 days, that'd be great. If they send with 4 masks, 5, you get the idea. It's the same kind of thing, kind of like extra socks. If your socks get wet, you want to go put on a dry pair of socks. If you, for some reason, drop your mask on the wet ground, you don't really want to put that back on unless, again, until you wash it or things like that. So I will take more questions on that if anybody has any questions. But I can't actually see you, so I'm assuming, I hope we have a bunch of heads nodding yes or shaking their heads no. I don't know.
Well, you want to stop right now? You need for any questions regarding?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. If anybody has any questions, go ahead.
Looks like you've done a wonderful job, Joel.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, you're there. I scared everybody. 1 of the 2. Yeah, and I know it's different. Yeah.
You won't wear a mask if you're outside and they're within the 6 feet apart. You have to wear a mask at all times inside.
Yep, and the masks have to cover the nose and the mouth. It's not just one or the other. It does have to cover both. So, yeah.
And we will send extra masks with the teachers.
Yep.
The other thing is talking with the teachers. Anytime that a student comes up to us and says, I don't feel good, I'm going home. I mean, bottom line, I can't take that chance. So parents, I want to make sure, I was just telling Mrs. Gase that they'll have the emergency cards with them, the smaller ones. So just make sure you give us plenty of numbers to contact. So we're just not going to take the chance. If they're complaining they don't feel good, they're going home. You have to take a little drive to. It's not that bad. It's just outside of Brooklyn, past MIS. It's really not that bad since Jackson. But for my house, it's about 40 minutes. For you, it's probably an hour. But I am hands down not going to say, well, you'll be all right. Hang in there, like we sometimes do with some of them. We will call you. They will have to call. Just because I'm not taking that chance. Rachel Campbell, God bless her. She's a nurse. She's coming with us as our nurse mom. Yeah. So I'm going to be trusting Rachel, but also I think I'll probably be there most of all 3 days. That I just don't want to take any kind of risk. And that goes for our 6th graders too. Does anybody have any questions so far for Joel? No questions right now.
Okay, I'm going to keep going on a couple other things that the video briefly touched on, but I know are usually always big hot topics. Food. Everybody's usually that's a question I get a lot. The food we have at camp is kid friendly. So breakfast might be pancakes, it might be French toast, it might be eggs. Usually there's some sort of protein, so sausage, bacon, might be waffles. It depends. We don't have a set menu. Generally they're the same kind of thing. Lunches tend to be things like sloppy joes or mini corn dogs, mac and cheese, pulled pork sandwiches, chicken tenders are the most popular one. Everybody loves chicken tenders, things like that. And then dinner tends to be a little bit more hearty, traditional dinner foods. I mean, we have on the video it showed what's called baked ziti, which is basically pasta, sauce, and cheese. Kids love it. Things like that. And then we'll have turkey, we'll have ham, we'll have various things like that. So it's all food the kids mostly are going to like for the most part. But at the same time, we do have options available if there are dietary restrictions, like if vegetarian, or if they're gluten intolerant, or they can't have soy or dairy or any allergies like that. As long as we know ahead of time, we will have food ready and prepared for them. And if you don't let us know ahead of time, we will probably still have food ahead. Our kitchen staff is really good about accommodating needs in that regards. In addition, we always do have sandwiches available if the kids don't want to eat that. They're always able to get sandwiches as well. So that's as well. Also, I should have said this earlier. I do apologize. You guys are not staying in the cabins. The kids are not staying in the cabins. They are staying in the lodges, which are the nicer ones, which have the bathrooms attached to them and the showers and the toilets all in the same room. They're heated, obviously. They have electricity. They're even air conditioned, but we won't use that in February. I hope. I don't know. You never know. So, but things like that. But yeah, awesome. And then as far as the packing list goes, again, I try to save this part for last. So, and obviously questions come up, feel free. Please, please, please make sure you send them with clothing that they're able to be outside in. There's nothing worse, and I've done this myself, than it's 20 degrees outside and you've got a pair of boots that are leaking, again, because they let all the snow in, and you're wearing a hoodie and that's it, and then you're outside for an hour. That's miserable. So please, please, snow pants are a great thing. If you have them, send snow pants. If you don't have snow pants, extra pairs of pants, double pants, those are great as well. Boots are great. Hats, mittens, gloves, all these things, and jackets as well. And multiple layers, a bunch of light layers is better than one big bulky layer sometimes. So please, please make sure, because again, most of our activities are done outside. There's a reason we do it. It's called outdoor education. So please make sure that they are prepared for that. Also, other thing I forgot to mention is the people who are staying in the cabins with them, they're not going to be teachers. Teachers are obviously going to be present and there. Mr. Swigert and I'm sorry, I forgot your other names already. I'm horrible with names. So they'll be there. There's but in the cabins with the kids themselves will actually be some the high school students, which I believe have already been selected, and correct me if I'm wrong, but cool. But they're all ready, and they will have their job is, they'll help kids get up in the morning, encourage them to take showers, because nothing's worse than a smelly kid, things like that. And then get them to their activities on time and their locations, and our staff will actually lead all the activities from there as well. Perfect. Yeah, that is basically just about everything. If a child is, one thing that was a little bit different, if those of you have older children who have sent them to historic camps in the past, we used to provide the health officer. This year, you guys are actually bringing your nurse with you as well. So they will take care of all medications and things like that as well. So it's a little bit different this year. It'll be your nurse instead of our staff, but they'll still be perfectly fine. Cool. All right, what questions do we have? I talk really fast, I'm sorry.
They ask, can they send snacks?
Great question. We don't encourage that. If your child has a special diet that they need special food, please send that. We don't want food in the cabins. Yes, they are very nice, but if we start keeping food in there, that invites little friends. We don't want mice.
They get so well fed.
It's you eat, you walk around for a couple hours, you eat, and you walk around a couple, and you eat, and then you do an activity that they feed you before they go.
They're not limited. So if they want 4 hot dogs, they eat 4 hot dogs.
Yep.
It really is, but they better eat it and not waste it, because they want the 0 waste.
Exactly. Yeah.
No snacks.
And there is a snack at night before bed. We give them that as well. I forgot to mention that. So, but don't bring the snacks. It just, they end up making mess and that brings mice in. And we obviously, we go through and clean the cabins, obviously, but we don't want to encourage the critters because, yeah.
Great question though. Thank you.
Yeah, great question.
What ends up happening if you pay and then you can't go over?
We will refund you.
Okay.
Yep, that's not a problem. She asked about refunds. It's
Yep,
not a-
I heard you. Yep.
We've had that happen before, and we'll, I mean, we have to look at through the school funds. It may not happen in a week, but
Yeah.
I will put it back in, and then our business office will cut you a check. So
Does
absolutely,
that happen like if your kid goes and stays one night in the home?
we get charged for
You
that.
still, okay.
We do get charged for that.
Okay.
So, unfortunately.
What about like allergy medicine? Like, would that be something to send to the school nurse, or is that something that?
Send it.
And you will have a medication form that we will need you to fill out, and the medication needs to be on the prescription on that medicine for Mrs. Campbell to follow.
Or it's like over the counter?
I still would like a medication form filled out, so we will send those.
They went
out.
home in the packet.
If you said if needed, like if needed.
Yeah.
I don't know what, how.
Right.
they're needed, not
Right.
everywhere.
And that, it's just like here at school, I mean, if I have a student that needs a Tylenol, it still has to have a medication form if needed, and it's controlled. So.
Yep.
Question then. Yeah,
And regarding that, for training,
if she has, it says on the form for carry, self-carry, absolutely. Yep, yep, absolutely. We've had that too. No, she'll have to have it with her. We'll make sure that the cabin leader knows that.
Usually, yeah.
The first week of December. She wanted to know when the packets were sent out.
Oh, yeah, sure. You're good. Don't worry.
We'll get some packets out
Yes, we
there,
will.
no
We'll get some
problem.
I know I have at least three.
We got a brand new copy machine, bring it on. Bring it on. Other questions? What do you think, Rachel? I think if it's over the counter, I still want you to fill out the medication form as you as a parent permission. But if it's a controlled substance or a prescription, they need to go hand in hand, have the pharmacy sign it. You gotta have the medication. Right.
One thing I will interject, we are a CBD-free facility, so
Go ahead.
we can't, someone's asking about medication. I heard that we do not allow any CBD or cannabis products on site, so
Okay.
don't send those. I hope.
A couple of old sharp darns here, but we're all right.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll let Mr. Swigert answer that. Why the first week in February?
Why not? It's kind of, it helps us out. A couple of reasons. Camp only allows us to come certain days. You only come for 3 days. After a certain date, that means you have to go 5 days, and that creates some issues there. And then it usually means we're the only people there.
You are the only people here.
Yeah, we are going to be the only group there. So it works out nicely. Because they've always done it that way. That's the answer I got. when I first started
24
here, so
years.
I'm gonna pass that along as that's the way they've always done it. It's a good time. If they can snow up there, they get a chance to go sledding. It's really, it's a cool opportunity, a little bit different. And
The other
sometimes
thing is
we've got
we have
pushed off
state
until March.
testing because it goes on in the springtime. We also don't get very good dates and other schools are there. and sometimes we just can't get in, so we have to go 4 or 5 days.
Yep.
She was a senior.
Yep.
We will be back by 2 o'clock on Friday.
Yep.
We will have parents meet us at the high school parking lot because we pull 6 buses out there. Luggage comes off and it's too chaotic.
Do you want me to
up here.
cover drop off and pick up real quick?
Yep, we can. We can do that to not hold Joel.
Okay, that's
up,
fine.
but-
No, you're good. Go for it. Don't worry. Keep going.
So they will pick the kids up at noon, they'll head out Friday at noon. We'll have a luggage bus for sixth grade luggage, we'll have a luggage bus for our fifth grade Friday.
No, that's.
Oh, you want to talk about leave, I'm sorry, I'm already thinking about coming
From
home.
here. We're going
So
from
the
here.
day we leave Wednesday morning, the kids do not come on the bus. You bring them. You bring them at 8:30 because I need all of our traffic out of here for our original drop off. 8:30, parents start bringing them. Make sure you have their luggage, like he said. And ladies, we don't need 3 suitcases like you're going on a vacation for a week. One bag.
I
let me
told
tell
the
you, I've
vendor,
seen
they
some things
carry
roll out
what
like
they pack, so they
Yeah.
are carrying it away, so.
You're not gonna use
smart, pack smart.
So, and we will have our cabin leaders out there, we'll start tagging the kids' stuff, if it's not tagged, line them up. I get the luggage bus here earlier, because we want to pack that first. Because we have 6 buses, 5th grade girls will be on one bus, 5th grade boys will be on one bus. 6th grade girls will be on one bus, 6th grade boys will be on one bus. And then we have all the kids in here. Parents, you say goodbye out there, not in here, because I've got school in session. So you need to say goodbye. We'll take good care of them, I promise. I've been doing this 21 years. I've never brought one home yet. Then I never brought a student. I think they brought it.
We never brought it home. When you
Yeah,
say
I
goodbye,
brought
they're
it
gone.
And the students get to talk. They say, if I bring you home, it is not going to be a pretty ride home. That's what I tell them. And I always say, I bring my husband's truck. And it won't be pretty. So, and then I've never had to bring a student home for behavior. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, we get the kids in here, we get them in their bash up with their cabin leaders. I have a talk with them, teachers have a talk with them. Once we're all packed up, we get on the road by like 9 or 11. So they get in the camp, I believe Joel, and eat lunch.
About 10:30.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
they get to their lodge and. get
Yep, so we
settled
bring them
there,
in, we
have
unload the
lunch.
buses, and then we move them into their cabins. They have a little time to unpack, and then it's gonna be lunchtime, and then we start our activities right after lunch.
They come in noon, they eat lunch before they leave. And they'll get on the same buses like we did. And then actually drivers are really good about staying in touch with me, but most likely I probably will be there to see how things are going. Then we meet at the high school parking lot by that tree to the far west side of the back parking lot. Because we've got room for all the cars, unload the buses, and then we pull in about 2 o'clock. So because our buses need to get in lineup to get your middle school, high school kids home. So that's why we are back here by 2 o'clock. And parents, we ask you that you pick them up, have somebody pick them up. Because one, they don't want to stay at school for another hour. They're tired, they want to get home, they have all their luggage, they can't ride the bus home. So we have someone pick them up.
If it's gonna be somebody other than you, let us know, so that way, instead of like a note on it, sometime early in that week, just so that way we have no percentage people live. Sometimes it's drop off, pick up, it's kind of chaotic, after you've got multiple buses on the road. Now it's gonna be twice as many students, twice as much luggage, so it's gonna be interesting. So, yeah, if you're gonna have somebody else pick them up, let us know.
And the cabin leaders help unload the buses. The biggest thing is finding their luggage afterwards, because it's all just a bubble. You know, it's never going to come back to the weekend. So, that's the hardest thing is we get a lot of leftovers. Socks, bring lots of socks. Boots, not, oh, those are really cute boots. No boots, no boots. No, those are not cute. Yeah. So boots, that's very, very important. Winter pants, winter coats, hats, they lose a lot, so they always, I send them with extra. Jackie,
Since 5th and 6th are going together this year, are they doing all the activities together or are they gonna be separated?
they're gonna be separated.
So we're gonna kind of treat it like 2 separate schools. They'll be together for like that evening activities.
And meals.
They may have like a crossover class, kind of thing, like 6th grade, they're the same. As far as who they stay with, who they're eating with. all that stuff.
We also discussed the other day, they'll be eating in like the hall together, but they're eating with their cabin. So that's
They have
another
to always
thing.
eat the
They're
same.
gonna eat with their cabin. So yeah, 5th and 6th will be in there, but whoever you're sleeping in the cabin with.
And one side of the cafeteria will be 6th graders and the other side will be 4th graders. Yes, I mean, they work it out with the kids,
We're gonna
right?
do that process after we get back to grade. As soon as, right now, one of the schools that do like, right now, we're just trying to figure out who's going, so that way we can make this process a lot more streamlined. They'll get the correct 2 names down, we try to get at least one person, they'll write down the list. And that, so we always have one person, one vote. Yeah, we try to make it.
The other thing that I'm very, very, very strict about is they are not to have their cell phones. They are not to bring them. I'm gonna make that really, really clear. Trust me, if they want to call you, we will let them call you. If they want to go, that is not a problem. Like Joel said, they don't need their cell phones. That's the whole point of going to camp, is to get away from all of that. So I've never had a student bring a cell phone. I believe one MP3 player back in the day, and the parent come and pick it up. But I mean it. We will let them call home if need be. Teachers will contact you. If they don't want to be there and they're not happy, we're gonna let them go home. That's fine. I don't want to make them stay there if that's not what we want to do. We're making everyone's lives. I make it very clear, kids do not need their cell phones. So take good care of them. Right now. They can bring disposable cameras.
Yes, I would recommend. disposable
I
cameras.
love it. We will take lots of pictures too. They do a whole spread on the yearbook for camp stores, so the kids can bring cameras, disposable cameras, not, oh, I got my camera on my phone. They're smarter than that. So,
I mean, I've seen like people send old like digital cameras, with them, like probably knows it's they get wet. Or sometimes the activities that they're doing.
the teachers take lots of pictures too.
It's pretty devastating to them if they can also, at least if they're in the disposable signage. So we highly recommend those. That's the best thing.
One thing I would recommend, if you send disposable cameras, teach them how to use them. They don't know anymore.
They still got 1 hour photo?
No, you have to send. I don't know. Good question, Smarty Pants. I don't know. At Walgreens, I think you still could drop them off.
Can you?
Yeah. Oh, really? Well, don't worry, you guys. We'll take lots of pictures. So, other questions? So the date that forms and commitment is due is by January 7th. Because teachers have to plan, camp has to plan. So if you decide your child's not going, we will have a 6th grade teacher, because the 6th grade teachers are not going, but we've got some other plans on staffing. One of the 6th grade teachers will be over here to work with our 5th graders, depending on how many have. Now, if I only have 4, I might then, shadow them in with 4 teachers, and then they also help with the littles on part of their day. So they need to come to school if they decide not to go to camp. And then a 6th grade teacher will also be staying with 6th graders who's not going over there. And then the other 6th grade teacher. But anyway, there's options if they do decide not to go. We respect that. And I've had students not go. But we're lucky that we're able to take 6th grade and 5th grade, because I feel bad that the year before we had just made it to camp and then we closed down in March. So we were able to get our trip in and so those kids didn't miss out. And our PTA helps out tremendously, offsetting the cost. They pay for the bus, and your cost is not the full cost. That's just some of the cost. We cover most of it through fundraisers and an account that I have built up to help keep that cost of where it's at. Because I really, truly believe it's an experience every child has to do. I went with my daughter when she was in 4th grade, and I got hand selected to go, probably because I was a principal. So that's why Ida asked me to go. And my daughter went, and it was great. It was a great time. And they only went 3 days too. And we went in the winter time. And it was fun. I did sneak a blow dryer in, we dry a couple of hair, but sorry, Joel.
Because
All right.
I didn't make her liar, but anyway, we had a great time. It was a great time. The kids absolutely love it, and they will be really tired to thank us for by Friday night. Any other questions? Yes.
So we did so that raffle basket and, for Halloween we did. We're thinking, we thought we were gonna do one person, we didn't put that together. We're gonna do something, we'll talk about that today when we're in the winter. Do like a winter basket raffle for the kids, and that brought in some good money. And so we thought after Christmas, that would be kind of fun. Yes, so those are the two things we've done.
In the past, we've done pizza kit, and it was just the way this year started, we kind of held off on it. But it is still a very minimum cost compared to what my daughter paid. She went, we paid the full amount. So it is, to me, a minute cost for what you're doing. I mean, they're getting fed 3 awesome meals. And it's snacks. Let me tell you, I enjoy it, but they bill me when I go in there. I do notice that, Joel, on the bill. But it is a good time. And I do probably plan on being there all 3 days just because of the amount of kids. I probably wouldn't sleep anyway those 2 nights, worried about it. I'll probably just be there for that. What we're looking at is having Mrs. Rocher, Mrs. Heck, and Mrs. Davis go into all the things. I know the kids from last year, they know the kids from this year. So we will have plenty of staff there. And with me there, I gotta come and talk to them, it's not. Right, what's my rule? I talk to you one time, if I talk to you the second time, it's not good, right? Got it. Questions? Yes. Mr. Swigert
They
answered
gotta
that.
fill out an application, they have to, approved by us. Most of the time it's so nice because I had some students that apply.
Along with Mr. Bates.
They have to
also
write,
has
they
approved.
have to write an essay.
They have to write an essay, they have to get 3 letters of recommendation from. It's a good group. Seniors and juniors, we opened up to juniors this year because we had so many students going with 2 grades. So we had a good turnout. We have a good set of candidates.
What I liked about some of their essays, is some of them, this is a great memory for them. And they looked up to their cabin leaders and they want to be that role model for these kids. So I thought that was something that really stuck out, and almost all of them said something like that. So I think that, I don't know them because I haven't been here as long as everybody else, but they seem like a great group.
Females.
Yes, oh, yes, oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for the students, square dancing, when I got married, we paid for square dance taller at our wedding back in the day. So it brings back great memories for me, but that's been a lot of fun. 35 years ago when you got married. So it was a great time. That's probably the only time that I'd say the girls and boys are mingling, maybe is some of them don't want to do it, end up loving it. It's a good time. Students, do you guys have any questions? Riley, questions? Thumbs up? Square dancing? Oh, man.
Yeah. We're in.
Oh,
Oh, you sure?
that's a long time ago. Joel, is there anything else you need to add or?
No, the only thing I'd say, if more questions come up, ask Mr. Swigert first. Mr. Swigert, if you don't know it, feel free to give me a call.
Absolutely. Will do.
Or shoot me an email if anything comes up. But I just thank you guys for coming out tonight. Appreciate it. I know it's not easy. Also, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, etc. Hope everybody has a great vacation, because I think you guys probably are out of school on Friday, I'm guessing, right?
Oh,
Oh,
no.
yeah. All right, sorry. All right, you guys are later. Sorry.
Well, thank you, Joel. We appreciate your
Yep.
time.
I just want to-
Thank you.
Anyone
Not a
else? I don't want to make sure I miss anybody for questions.
I got one. more.
Oh, this, yep, one more. Right. Uh-huh.
We're here.
Yep, and they do their rounds, at night when it's time to be quiet, and go to bed. They do their rounds and check on them.
Go for a walk. We are very close. They're not on beer. They actually walk by their cat.
Yeah. First night, they don't sleep well, second night, they do better.
That's right.
Right, yeah.
They're all, they're gonna be all wound up right up there and then they're silent away.
Mr. Miller, you went on the trip. What do you think? You remember your camp days? Good memory for you? What do you remember most about camp for you?
Both of like building, by the creek where we're doing stuff like that. We played like kickball. I don't know, a lot of fun. Yeah, but before we had, oh yeah, it was a time where we had like cabin where we had a walk.
Yeah, you stayed in the 8th.
Yeah.
It smelled like dirty shoes, let me tell you, I remember it.
I stayed in lodge once.
My daughter, we stayed in the 8th grade.
You can stay. You can go stay.
She slid right out of bed and woke everybody up. It was not pretty.
If there is weather on that day, if school is canceled, unfortunately, we can't send the buses out, so we'll have to reschedule. That has happened. Actually, it
One
happened.
year, 3 times.
First year I went.
rescheduled.
Yes, it was painful, but we went, which was the
We
important.
did, we did. And then one time they were at camp and school was,
Oh, yeah.
and we had police escort get these guys home. It was nerve wracking. I made my husband take the work day off. We drove his truck and we escorted the buses back home. We made it.
And then if there's a 2-hour delay, we will still go to camp on that day.
Yeah.
But we'll leave 2 hours later. So instead of dropping them off at 8:30, you can drop them off at 10:30, and then we would just communicate. to them. Hopefully, there won't be any weather issues.
Yes, no wearing your pajamas inside out on February 1st. No spoon under the pillow or whatever that is. Hey. What? Will it be a football? They play Gaga ball. That's a big thing. You won't
Yeah,
Gaga
well, that's-
ball, you're gonna miss it. You don't even want to talk about football. You're gonna learn about Gaga ball. Any other questions? I really appreciate all of you coming. That says a lot. It speaks volumes. It speaks parents that are here, and this is recorded, so hopefully the parents that couldn't make it tonight will be able to get on and watch it and see if they have any other questions. And again, Mr. Swider's the pro. I'm probably the pro over the pro, but he is the pro. These are newbies, so we'll get them doing some things they probably we won't tell them, right, guys? So now we're real excited. We're glad we can go. I was in the county principals meeting today and Bedford canceled it. They're not going. So he was pretty jealous that we decided we're still going, but Bedford canceled in October. They were supposed to go in January and Bedford's not going. So I feel blessed that we are able to go, and that's administration going now. So we still have that thumbs up and we're gonna go. So unless something changes, our plan is we're gonna move forward. Okay? So thank you. Everyone have a great holiday. Thank you again for coming, Joel. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes. Night, Joel.
Good night, guys.
All right, take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.